I'll set, City of Lowell Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing on February 26, 2007, 6:30 PM concerning the following petitions. First, we have is 183 Stackpole Street, Steve-O Nominee Trust, to vary the dimensional requirements to allow the construction of a two-family dwelling with the garages under and an undersized lot. Are they here today?
Good evening, Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Should I give the presentation up at the...
Yeah, I want to put it right in the easel, sure. You have to speak right into the mic.
Good evening, Chairman and members of the board.
You're gonna have to hold it right up to, that's
Can,
not.
can you hear me now?
Yep, sounds good, yep.
Okay. Again, good evening. My name is Matt Hammer. I'm with Polaris Engineering Corporation, here representing Steve-O Normandy Trust, as well as the attorney, which was unable to attend this meeting tonight due to personal matters, which is James A. Hall from Qual Hall, Harvey and Walsh. So I'm here to represent this project. And what I did was I made a aerial depiction of where we are so we can get ourselves familiar where the property is. It's shown here as this vacant green grass parcel here at the corner of Stackpole and Nesmith Street. We're here this evening to be granted relief from a number of dimensional requirements in order to facilitate the locating of a duplex dwelling, of which I have a site plan here showing the duplex, which is shown here in tan, with a line here depicting the location of each individual unit, and shown in green is representing the grassed area or the landscaped area around the parcel. We're here this evening for 9 specific variances. And the reason this many are required is we were trying to site the proposed duplex in the middle of the parcel. This parcel is located in a TTF, which is a traditional two-family. And this aerial photograph also shows the amount of two families and triplexes in this existing neighborhood here. There's also a significant amount of multi-family buildings surrounding this area as well. This parcel at one time did house a 5-family, multi-family structure on this parcel of land. It was taken down a number of years ago. So we're here now proposing this duplex, which also has enough area here to either side of the driveway garage entrance, which is here and here, to situate an additional vehicle that would meet the parking regulations. I have a rendering that gives you an idea of what we're proposing, which is a 3-story structure with the occupiable space on the 2nd and 3rd floor with a drive-under garage. Included in the application package is a variance summary identifying all the individual variances being requested. And I'll go through each variance with you. The first variance is the minimum lot size is 6,000 square feet. of which this parcel has 4,363 square feet, which right now is a pre-existing non-conforming parcel by area. We're also proposing to allow 2,180 square feet per dwelling unit, where 4,000 per dwelling unit is required. We're also requesting relief from the frontage requirement, where 65 lineal feet is required, and we have 63.73. I'd also like to note that we do have the frontage that would be required off of Nesmith Street, but we're not going to be proposing an access off of Nesmith Street, which is also Route 38. That's why the variance is being requested from Alder Street. We're also requesting relief from the front yard setback, where 15 is required. And what we were trying to do is center and to locate this structure more towards the center of the property. What we have is frontage setbacks around all three sides here to these roadways, which enabled us to realistically meet the side setback, which is 10 some 25. We're also requesting relief from the minimum open space requirement, where 500 square feet is required and per dwelling unit, and we're proposing 194.7 square feet. If you notice on this parcel, there's a significant amount of green space as well as existing fencing around this portion, around the property. And this area right here was actually, there was a taking during the intersection improvements to Nesmith and Stackpole back in the 70s. So the actual lot lines here, even though there was an existing fencing to the exterior here, so we were unable to meet the open space requirement. We're also proposing 3 stories where 2.5 stories is required. And if you go to this aerial photograph, you'll notice that there are a significant amount of 3 to 3.5 story structures in this neighborhood. So we felt as though that would not be detrimental to the neighborhood. And there's also a requirement that the garage door, which is located here, be set back from the right-of-way 24 feet. And we have it set back 15 feet. But I'd also like the board to recognize that it's 25 feet thereabouts to the edge of the pavement, to the existing roadway there on Alder Street. And I'll open up to the board to any questions.
Okay, before we have any questions, is there anyone here like to speak in favor for this petition? In favor? Anybody in opposition? In opposition? Hearing none, we'll open it to the board. Now, am I correct? We got a letter from the manager's office that there's some back taxes on this piece of property, and it will be paid if this does get approved. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Was it a sum of $120,000 or something?
Yeah, it's in excess of $121,000.
Okay, all right. Anybody have any questions? Good, Jack.
Of the variances, the two that I find most significant would be the minimal usable space, obviously, and the lot area and dwelling unit seem to be the two that jump out the most as far as our willingness to approve this. I certainly would like to hear from other board members as to they feel similar about those two particular requests, because those are the two that seem to jump out as far as the maximum amount of relief they're looking in a particular area. I know that previously one of the things that the board has done is we've always looked at open spaces an important contribution as far as the aesthetics in an area, and I'd be curious to see how other board members feel about that. And also the significant difference in the lot area and dwelling unit, which is just about 2,000 square feet. I'll listen to other board members and make my decision then. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Through you, Mr. Chairman. Well, this is, there are certainly a number of variances here on this one. But, I mean, as it stands right now, I'm certainly not happy with a vacant lot, which what sits there on a very busy road, just overgrown, and I'm certainly not happy the way things are currently. And I'm very familiar with Stackpole Street. It's mainly multis for the most part, and there's a few brick buildings which include 20 some odd units in each of them. I think the city benefits in getting some revenue out of this, which is due to the city. Probably wouldn't get it in any other way. A two-family, these variances are required because it's a two-family, and to pay taxes and the price of the land is probably the only way this project's going to work. A single-family, it's not going to work for a builder or a developer, and therefore nobody touches it, and it just sits. So there are a number of variances, Mr. Chairman, but it still would conform with the neighborhood. I went up there, went up and down the street a number of times today, and I could see it clear to grant the variances to clean that lot up, get the city its taxes, and I think it'll be best for the neighborhood. Thank you very much.
Go, Steve.
I just have a question. How many, maybe you told me, but I didn't write it down. How many square feet is the proposed unit, each unit going to be? How many square feet, how many bedrooms are you proposing, if you know that?
Each unit will be 2 bedrooms, and it's going to be 1,600 square feet.
So each unit will be 1,600 square feet. And the, just by, I guess, the artist's rendition that you presented earlier, if you could put that back up for 1 second. Now, is the reason it's that garage under the way you have it because of topography of the land? Is it the way that the land rolls down towards the street? Is that the reason you're doing it that way? Or, and that's probably the reason why you have to go up to a 3rd level.
The reason why we have that is to meet the parking requirement of 2 spaces per unit.
Okay, so 2 cars will fit in that garage?
No, 1 car would fit in each unit.
And one in the
there would be
driveway.
a separate space to either side there.
Okay. Is there any other room for additional parking, visitor parking, or
No, there is not.
just on the side street?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's actually a good thing for the neighborhood and a good thing for the city. We're getting $121,000 if we approve this tonight. If we don't, the city's not going to get any type of money at all. I'm sure the city can use $121,000. So, plus, it actually doesn't look that bad. I mean, you got plenty of green space. You got off-street parking. It's kind of a dead-end type of road that there's additional parking for on the street. There are no neighbors here opposing it, so I have no problem with it. Donna, all set?
Agree with you, Mr. Chairman. I think cleaning up that area is a benefit for the neighborhood, and nobody is here to oppose it, so I'm in favor of this.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Second the motion?
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Gary?
Approve?
Mr. Kazanjian?
Approved.
Ms. McMahon? Mr. Belanger?
Approve.
And Mr. Knox?
Approve.
Been approved with 5 votes. Before you leave, you need to sign some paperwork.
Thank you very much.
Next, we have 21 Eugene Street, Albert Stamp, to find substantial material change in a plan previously denied January 22nd, 2007 for the construction of a single-family home.
Good evening. I'd like to thank you guys again for your time to hear my revised proposal. Since our last meeting, I have addressed the concerns of the board as well as the immediate abutters. I've made the following changes. Previously addressed by the board and of the Kellys of 27 Eugene Street were the issues of the potential need for blasting of the ledge and the safety concerns associated. Since our last meeting, I've had the soil removed from that area of concern. In this process, it was discovered that much of what was thought to be ledge is nothing more than loose rocks. The rock was removed with a small excavator with minimal effort. Thus, the area where the rock is present has been scaled to a very small area than previously thought. In the event that the small area would require anything other than an excavator to remove it, it would be removed with alternative methods to blasting, such as drilling or chemical splitting. The rock is not present where the proposed footprint of the structure would be placed. The area where the rocks are present would only be removed to grade or to level to install the parking area. Unfortunately, tonight, Mrs. Levinson of 19 Eugene Street was feeling under the weather. I've had a chance to sit with them. But some of her concerns were the trees and leaving a natural border, which we've come to an agreement with her and the Kellys to leave much of the larger trees to keep the natural border. I've also sat with the Levinsons and offered to grade off their rear yard to meet the level of everything else in the area. Regarding the side yard setbacks, I have decreased the overall footprint of the house, thus gaining the necessary and exceeding the required 25 to over 30 feet of setbacks, with over 15 feet on either side. I've also asked for the proposed footprint to be set back 5 feet. In sitting with the neighbors and talking about privacy factor and such, where 19 Eugene Street sits and their house drops off in the back, we thought it would be better off another 5 feet back to give everybody their privacy. So that's basically all I have. I'd like to open it up.
Okay, is there anyone here like to speak in favor on this petition? In favor? 21 Eugene Street? In favor? Anybody in opposition? In opposition? Hearing none, we'll open to the board, but before I open to the board, we're just gonna vote. This is a repetitive petition, and we're voting on whether there's some substantial change in the petition, not on the merit itself of the petition. If this does get approved, it goes to the planning board have to vote on it, then it comes back to us again, and we'll have to vote on this on the merits of the petition itself, so. Right, that's the,
I guess my feeling from the beginning of this project was that it was a tight spot, but, you know, looking at the history of what happened here, I think you acquired approvals or somebody in your family did several years ago.
Yes.
Which is, you know, why I was more inclined to support it, although when you did, we asked you to have it staked out, and then when I went by it, after you staked it out, it was really too close for me to approve it. But you did move it a little bit. It's still a tight spot there, but I think that, you know, you spoke with the neighbors, and you're representing that the neighbors, that you were able to satisfy their concerns. You know, they're obviously not here tonight to oppose this. And again, you would have to go back to the planning board and then back to us for final approval. But my other concern was that blasting in such a tight spot there, and if that's no longer an issue, and, you know, you've had that land, and like I said, it was approved, and for whatever reason, you never went forward with the project several years ago. And I think considering all that, and considering the way that the land is shaped, I think I would probably support this, recognizing that there are no abutters opposing it, but that's my feeling at this point. Thank you.
Corey?
Through you, Mr. Chairman. I concur with Mr. Geary on his comments. I believe Mr. Stamp has definitely done his due diligence on this petition. no more than a month ago, there were several people in this room opposing this project, myself and all these board members included, because when it was staked off, it just wasn't going to work. And I see you decreasing the size of the home. So to me, you've convinced your neighbors that you're going to be responsible and a good neighbor, and you've convinced them, and that helps convince me, quite frankly.
Well, this basically is just we're voting on for a change. We
Yes, a
don't-
change of the plan, yeah.
That's all, that's all.
right.
Nothing to do with neighbors, man, just a change.
Right.
Then
Okay.
when he comes back to us, it'll be basically another public hearing if he gets past the planning board, and we can talk about all that with the neighbors and whatnot.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I do like the changes that he's made in the plan, and he's still got a number of hurdles to go through on this, but I could see supporting the changes in the plan, yes. Thank you very much.
Okay. Mr. Knox, you all set?
I don't know whether this would be something that would be reserved for his next appearance if approved this evening, but the question I would have is concerning 21 Eugene Street and the methods which you address as crack might. Have you discussed this with the occupants and the neighbors at 21 Eugene Street as well?
Yes, I have.
Okay. And then if we're voting just on the plans of the change itself, then I think I would agree with my fellow board members, and I would approve it. Thank you.
Okay. Donnie, you all set? Okay. I do believe he did make a substantial change by changing the house size. I do have a lot of concerns, I just want to let you know that. And if you have to come in front of our board again, I'll be addressing those concerns, and I'll go from there. But I do think that there's some type of substantial change, so I'm going to need a motion.
Make a motion to find a substantial change in circumstances in the plan submitted this evening as opposed to the original set of plans.
I'll second the motion.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Gary?
I find a substantial change in circumstances. Approve.
Mr. Kazanjian?
Approved?
Ms. McMahon? Mr. Belanger?
Approve.
Mr. Knox?
Approved.
You've been approved with 5 votes. Before you leave, we need to sign some paperwork. Thank you very much. Okay, I think that's it. We're going to need a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second the motion?
Everybody in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes yes.